Good morning, grade twos, and it's Friday, the end of another week, and we haven't got long to go now before holidays. And today you're going to learn about the story of Zacchaeus, which is a very well-known man in the Bible. You may have heard the story before, and Zacchaeus was a tax collector. And tax is a sort of money that you have to pay to the government for things that you buy. Like if you own a house, you have to pay tax on your house. Or if you buying things in the shop, then there's a small fee of tax on that amount as well. So it's compulsory to pay your taxes, and everybody will pay taxes. So yeah, it's just something that people would do. And in the olden days, a person was called a tax collector, and they would actually go and collect all of the money that the people had to pay, and they should give it to the government. But in this story, Zacchaeus was very naughty because he didn't pay it to the government. He actually stole the money from the people and he kept it for himself. So he wasn't very popular. And let's find out what Zacchaeus did in this story. All right, so let's understand what kind of person Zacchaeus was. So as we've spoke about on the previous slide, he was a tax collector. So he would go around and collect people's money, but you know he was very naughty. He stole the people's money, and because of this he became very rich. The people didn't like him. He was very unpopular, and they lived in a city called Jericho, and he was not at all liked in Jericho. He cheated people out of their money because he was supposed to give it to the government, but meanwhile he took it for himself. So he was cheating as well. He was very lonely. He didn't have many friends, or maybe just one or two, because he was sinning and doing bad things. No one wanted to be his friend. So he became very lonely and probably quite isolated and always by himself. He was also very short. Now, some of you may have seen a picture of him before. If you have a children's Bible that has pictures, you might have seen this. All right, so this is an important part of the story because he was so short, so he had to do something so he could see. So you will hear about that now. I'm going to play a video for you now from YouTube, and you're going to watch what happens to Zacchaeus. And he meets Jesus, and something's going to happen to him. So watch very carefully and enjoy the video.
Jesus met many people and did amazing things during his 3 years of ministry. One time, he met a small man with a big name. His name was Zacchaeus, and there are 2 things you should know about him. First, he was rich. Second, he was short. Zacchaeus was rich because he cheated by taking more tax money from people than he was supposed to. For that reason, just about everybody disliked Zacchaeus. As Jesus was teaching, many came to listen to him speak. Zacchaeus really wanted to see him too. He had heard of all the amazing things Jesus had done. The streets were filled with people, and Zacchaeus' curiosity grew stronger by the minute. Zacchaeus tried to get a good spot, but he was too short to see from behind the crowds. No matter how hard he pushed or how high he jumped, he couldn't even get a glimpse of Jesus. The crowds were too many, and the people were too tall. Finally, Zacchaeus found a solution. He ran ahead to where Jesus would eventually pass by, found a big sycamore tree, and climbed it. But then Zacchaeus got nervous. Jesus was coming right towards him. Here he was, sitting in a tree like a trapped cat, and Jesus was coming to look at him. Sure enough, Jesus stopped at the bottom of the sycamore tree and looked up at Zacchaeus. Jesus smiled at Zacchaeus and said, "Zacchaeus, hurry and come down, for I must stay at your house today." Imagine Zacchaeus' surprise when he heard that Jesus was coming to his house. Zacchaeus scrambled down the tree and showed Jesus the way to his house. He was so excited. The bystanders, and especially some of the religious leaders, were shocked. How could this Jesus, who was a teacher of the law, go and eat with a sinner like Zacchaeus? They murmured. The religious leaders were right. Jesus did eat with a sinner. He visited Zacchaeus to teach him the truth and show him how to obey and serve God. Some of the religious leaders cared more about their own reputation than showing God's love to people around them. Zacchaeus knew that he had sinned by stealing money from people. He felt deep sorrow and regret. After receiving Jesus' love and forgiveness, he told Jesus, "Look, I'm giving half of everything I own to the poor people, and for all the money that I've cheated people of, I'll give them back 4 times as much." Jesus forgave Zacchaeus' sin. He said, "Today, salvation has come to your house." That day, Jesus showed God's love to Zacchaeus, and it changed him. There is nothing more powerful than Christ's love.
So let's just remember in the story what happened to Zacchaeus after he met Jesus. So remember when he went to his house and Jesus came with him, and Jesus said, "Today salvation has come to this house." That means that he has been changed. Zacchaeus realized his ways and his behavior was not good, and so he was forgiven. And he actually said that he would give half of his money to the poor people, and he would pay back all the people he stole from 4 times more than he took. So that's quite a lot of money. He was pure now, okay? And Zacchaeus, the name actually means pure. So now he really was. And he received Christ's love. He was changed, and he wasn't sinful anymore. So that is a wonderful thing. All right, so now we're going to do an activity, and it's in your yellow Bible book on page 23. So if you look at the picture on the screen, you can see you've got a maze at the top of your page. And this maze is of the sycamore tree that Zacchaeus climbed up into so he could look at Jesus. So can you see Zacchaeus up at the top? Let me try and draw him. There he is. Okay. And you have to make your way down to Jesus and the crowd below. Okay. So what you are going to do is follow the branches of the maze and get down to the bottom, but you cannot cross over branches or leaves that are in the way, because then that is going to be wrong. Okay, so if I was to quickly start it for you, okay, so you're going to start from this branch here. Okay, it's not very neat, I'm afraid. If I go, I look ahead so I can see which way is the right way. And it looks like if I go up that way, it's going to be the right way. Okay, so you're going to do it a lot neater than me. See, you can't go down this way because that is going to block your way. So you've got to follow your way through the maze. Okay, let me go a little bit further and then you're going to carry on. So I'm going to go to there and then you're going to carry on now. Okay. And then once you've done it in pencil first, and remember always pencil first in case you make a mistake and then you can rub it out, then you're going to go over your pathway with a highlighter so you can see exactly which way he climbs down, and you're going to go all the way down to where your arrow comes out. Okay, so that's what you're going to do there, and then you can color in the rest of the picture with your pencil crayons. And that will look beautiful. And also don't forget your date at the top of the page. Then underneath it says, what lessons can we learn from Jesus in this story? So I think the very most important one is that we can learn how to forgive people. So just like Jesus forgave Zacchaeus for stealing everybody's money, we too can forgive people when they do something wrong. So that for me is probably one of the most important things we can learn from this story. But there are other ones too, so you can think about those and you can write them down on the lines underneath. All right, so that is your activity for today. Have a lovely day, and I look forward to seeing your work, and have fun. Bye.